We'll call to order the meeting of the work session for the Board of Supervisors in Conference Room number 1, County Administration Building at 4:32. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barber.
Here.
Mr. Farmer.
Here.
Mr. Blackstock.
Present.
Mr. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Scarrett.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Warren.
Yes. Well, items to be added to the agenda. Seeing none, approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, seconded by Mr. Barber. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 5A, continued discussion from Finance Committee meeting. Okay.
All right, I'm sorry about that.
I want to follow up on Mr. Blackstock's question. It appeared in the presentation that we were given that I think he was looking at the same thing I was looking at. In 2020, we're showing a payment of $79,222 on one bond, and then we're showing one on the next page, which is $45,991. Is that what you were looking at? And both of those would occur twice.
Right.
In 1 year.
That's right.
So that doesn't include that Project Ligament, which is for $1.1 million. That is really tied to the LIBOR plus 1.5%, I believe. Is that right? What's the LIBOR to that? I know it's going to be different from this whenever we
I
execute.
think when I looked at it, I hadn't looked at it recently. When we looked at it here, it was 2 point something, I think.
I think the last time I was 196.
Yeah.
Other questions from Ms. Vanderhyde following the Finance Committee? Seeing none, we'll move to 5B, tax due date change proposal. Mr. Short, thank you, after our fire treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow board members. This is a carryover from the November meeting when I deferred in the interest of time. So this is not budget specific related to this year, but this would be a request to change the due dates permanently from June 5th and December 5th to June 10th and December 10th respectively. And the reason we're requesting this change is there's already a lot of stuff every month that goes on right at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. And most of them is associated with the DMV stop withholding program. So there's people realize at the end of the month they need to register their vehicle and realize that they need to come see us to settle with us to remove that stop. And then at the beginning of the month, there's a residual of those folks that did not get those issues resolved at the end of the month. Compounded on top of that is our routine end of the month balancing, which is time consuming, it's tedious. Our clerks have to get completely out of our system due to software limitations, and they have to duplicate their work efforts because they cannot enter them into the system on the last day of the month once the end of the month balancing has started, and until the books for the month are completed and verified that they're completely balanced, which sometimes spills into part of the first day of the month the next day. All the transactions they process during that time have to be duplicated. They have to switch from where they entered them in a temporary status, and then they have to rekey them into the live system. So with those two things already, each month right at the end of the month is pretty hectic, to say the least. So when we have a collection due period at the 5th, at the beginning of the month, only once every 7 years does the first of the month land on Monday, where you have the first through the 5th all during business days, during work days. The previous two cycles, including the 2 cycles this year, both will fall into not the once in the 7 years, but the first will land in 1 week, and then we burn 2 calendar days of our collection cycle over Saturday and Sunday. So you really only have a 3-day collection window between the 1st of the month and the 5th of the month. With all those other things thrown in there and creating also very time-consuming transactions along with your last-minute taxpayers, but they're also lumped in with people that get paid once a month. So there are people waiting for that next or the last paycheck right before the due date to come in. So we're packing a lot of people into 3 business days by having the collection date on the 5th. And for those reasons, we're requesting the board consider exploring changing the due date and moving it out 5 days. That would guarantee us 1 full week of business days between the end of a month, 1st of a month, and the due date.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Short? Yes, sir.
What kind of drawbacks are we looking at if we do that?
From our perspective, none at all. In fact, we'd love it to go 10 more days to June 20th. That would give us our lives.
Easy them.
Still in the fiscal year. Our lives from November to April are pretty hectic, and to pick up an extra 10 days will be tremendous.
I was thinking about the 15th part of it, Mr. Chairman, but I see the 15th, why not the 15th?
I have a good reason for the 15th. The 15th doesn't work for us because then we're packing right a due date with a pay date. Because a lot of people get paid on the 1st and 15th. We got to get away from those pay dates.
Okay, I was just thinking it would be okay when you got to have it in on April 15th, why we just string them up to 3. Anyway, I go with the 20th as well.
I agree with Mr. Smithman. If we could get the 20th, I mean, 5 days would mean the world to me, but 10 would be even better.
It'd be good for me because it's a little longer to stretch out my payments there.
Mr. Blackstock.
Ms. Van der Hyde,
Yes.
anytime that we delay payments, that affects our checkbook and
As
money
long
coming in
as
from
you're
the top.
getting those payments in before the end of your fiscal year. That's what I was telling Vincent. We've been discussing those due dates all day, and he said, well, we can just move it to September. No, I have been there. 2012, we moved the due date to July the 16th, and everything now, when you go back 12, we're trying to do this financial forecasting model. Well, what happened in 12? Because your revenue went whoop, and it's because we moved the due date from June the 5th to July the 16th. And the due date was July the 16th, it wasn't June, so for audit purposes, we couldn't bring that revenue back to June. And so at year end, in 2012, it looks like we had this humongous dip, and it's because we moved the due date. It really had nothing to do with anything other than to make that change. So, we really want to avoid that at all costs. I mean, if you ever made a change like that, then you would know, okay, starting this time, we did that. But you don't want, this year it was this day, and this year it was this day, and then you've got all these, you never have apples to apples comparisons. You have to always remember that happened. Even now, we have that going on with twice-a-year taxation. You have to know exactly what year that started, so you know when you had the spike, but you have to remember those important days. So we try to avoid that at all costs. So as long as we get it in before the end of the fiscal year, it's much better.
Any other questions?
What day is June 20th?
June 20th is a Wednesday. Hump day.
Time to recover.
How many payments do we receive that's more than 10 days late? Typically. I mean, I know you don't know exactly.
Are you saying, are you
After
asking?
the June 5th.
Right, but
From
delayed.
June 5th to June 15th.
Well, delayed payments that were mailed on or before the 5th that will be processed as current or actual
No,
late payments?
Late payments.
It's not all, it's usually about a tray of mail, which is probably 500, 600.
Okay, and the deposits, when these funds are received, they're going into some interest-bearing account of some extent.
Correct.
So, we're not talking about a lot of money, but every day we're gonna lose some interest that you extended out.
And they're going in that main operating account, which is a minimal interest.
Right.
It's like 0.25%.
Well, I mean, but we're talking about a large amount of money,
Yeah, for just 10 days.
for 10 days, yeah. You had something?
No, man, I just want to say, I think 5 additional days, reasonable request. I mean, I know it's on the table going an extra 15, but without seeing any penalties or any drawbacks, I think the recommendation of the council would be suitable.
My only concern, and I understand what you're saying, and I certainly agree with you on the 15th, but if we go out to the 20th, I do think you're going to have some that may even get current payment, that because it's postmarked right, but we all know that happens sometimes, that it'll carry into another fiscal year. Not that it's a big deal, but it could happen.
And that's common. When I took office, the previous year, the June collection cycle was still processed in mail the 15th of July.
Yeah.
Now, we've certainly truncated and shortened that down significantly with automation.
Do those post back in?
They post
So
back
it's still
anyway.
hit our audit on June 30, even if it didn't post till after this.
And this year being further complicated with the 30-day window that we have to publicize this hearing, really means a tax rate needs to be set on the February 27th meeting that you first get the budget to meet any kind of expectation of getting the bills out on time.
So, let me ask another question. That's a good point. If we push it out 5 days, does that give us more time in our process from the 30 days?
I mean, if you follow the calendar that you have, best case scenario, he's not getting bills out till the end of May.
Into May. And state code says 2 weeks. I think we might be emergency moving this day this year temporarily anyway. That's why I would favor Mr. Smith's proposal, the 20th, definitely for this year, because I think that's about where we're going to be anyway.
Well, personally, from my thoughts, if that's the case, I'd say push to the 20th and leave it there. I don't like continuing to jump around. Let's let everybody get the system.
Just to be
on.
clear, we have the current date in our county code, so if we change this, we'll just have to do a public hearing at the next board meeting. Does that work for you? So we have if you vote on this, you'd be giving us authority to advertise this and have a public hearing.
We need to add that to because it's not on this agenda.
Yeah, we have a placeholder on tonight's meeting that says matters from the work session, so we can add it in there.
We need to add it at the beginning
Yes.
of the agenda.
Yeah, we'll get something written up.
Is everybody consensus is the same?
Okay.
20, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Short. We're at item 5C, digital agenda software training.
And she's waiting on us to call in to connect with her at 5. I think we've still got a couple of board members that I've had with these cut-ups. So if you wanted to take a quick break.
Take a 15-minute technology break.
Good.
Get everything up and running.
Okay, we're back, call it back to order.
Yeah, I think they're going to tell us how to log on to it. Can you hear me now?
Hear you? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hello.
Okay, I am logged on my PC, and Rebecca's going to log on and use that as to run the meeting. And all the members of one already have one of the iPads we have to finish. But,
One iPad that you have to set up?
yeah, finish setting up. I'm having Rebecca
Okay.
log on, so they can see, they'll be able to see our screen.
Will they be able to see my screen?
I can get on that real quick.
Since we're not doing the voting, we don't have to worry about you presenting or anything. It's just, I'm just going to show them the iPad and show them how to access it.
Okay,
So you can just, as long as you can share my screen, we should be good.
okay, I'm just going to log on to that real quick then.
No. I didn't know it was first.
And when you, do you have them all, will you have them all logged into the iPad app, or do you want me to show them that as well?
We're going to start from logging on the first time.
Okay, so they haven't even selected the server or anything like that?
No, because we just got a few of them finished.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to make sure. They do have the, you did get the WeGovern installed though, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, go to meeting is the next issue in a second.
Your motion to, well, you have to talk to your iPad, I'm sure.
That's fine,
Yeah.
They push the app, I think, or did you have to add the app on the phone?
Okay, so they can all see your screen now on the big screen.
Okay, excellent. So do you want to, do you want to finish that other iPad, or do you want me to proceed without the last one set up?
We'll proceed without it.
Okay. So just let me know when everyone's ready, and I can.
We're going to make sure everybody has, I'll launch the app.
Okay.
Everybody's on their iPads and get to the WeGovern app. And they're all at the login screen.
Excellent. All right, so I'll get there as well. So you're at this screen here where you're choosing the agency name?
Yes. It's refreshing, but yes. I'm going to be walking right behind them, but I can hear you.
Okay.
So they're all at
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to show you, my name is Jennifer, I'm going to show you the WeGovern app. Today, I'll show you how to access the agenda. So, as you know, we've been working toward getting this new agendas and minutes software up and running. This app will be the way that you'll access your agendas moving forward. So today will be your first kind of preview of that. We'll be able to see the agenda for tonight's regular meeting. So this screen that we're looking at right now is agency name or a state. It should be all blanked out here, but as long as you have internet access, if you just begin typing Pittsylvania County in that first search bar there, it will find the server and connect for you. I'm going to illustrate that here. I'm just going to back out of here just to illustrate that. But if you start to type PITT with internet access there, a little box will pop up to the left where it asks you to select your agency. You'll only have to do this one time. So once we select this and set it up, you'll never have to worry about this again. It'll automatically connect you to your correct server. I'm going to select that. Pittsylvania County VA is the name of our agency, and the server there is listed below. Did everyone get that far?
Yes.
Okay. We can click Start here, and then it'll bring us to our login. And just so that you know, you will be logging in as board members, of course, as supervisors, but there is a citizen access as well, just so that you're aware. Citizens can sign up for accounts, and they can also log in anonymously to view agendas and minutes from the same web portal and from the same WeGovern app. Your board member login, your username will be your first dot last name. First dot last name is going to be your username, and your password should be 12345. And I'm going to log in here with my own admin account. And then once you've entered that information, first dot last name, and then your login, go ahead and click on login, and it'll bring you to your meetings list. Has everyone gotten that far?
Says my password has changed, I gotta give it a week.
Okay, a couple of them have an expired password, but just get them changed real quick.
Yes, it should prompt you to reset after that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can just pick another password.
Can't be the same one again.
Yeah, it just has to be at least 5 digits. There's no,
Correct, there's no other requirements
no
right now.
requirements other than be 5 digits. Okay.
Yeah, let me ask you this, what is a regular meeting and a business meeting? Something different from that? That one's at 7 p.m.
Everything that's on the screen right now, other than today's meeting, is just test data.
Okay.
So those are all dummy meetings for testing, other than today's meeting.
And I'm going to just walk you through this interface here before we get to the meeting, so just hold if you haven't.
I got one more, and we'll be. All right, everybody's signed in now.
Okay. So what you're looking at here is your meeting calendar. As was mentioned, we've been doing a lot of testing and training in the system, so the only real data in here today will be found with this January 16th meeting, today's business meeting, listed right here in blue. But just so that you know, in the future, we'll have all of your meetings will be listed here. You can scroll through this list on the left. It may contain additional information for meetings. You'll notice at the top of the screen, you'll also have 2 drop-downs or filters, period and group. So right now, we're focused on Board of Supervisors meetings from recent period, meaning the next 4 weeks or so, or the last 4 weeks or so. If I click on the group, you'll also notice in the future we'll be able to bring on other meeting boards and the agendas for those particular groups. But if I were to click on all meetings, I can also select specifically Board of Supervisors or the Planning Commission or other committees that we may bring on. This list may get pretty long, so this is a nice way to filter through and find the group or the meeting that you're looking for. It's a nice touch, though, that it does open up with recent meetings. It'll always show upcoming meetings for the next couple of weeks right at the top here. So, of course, tonight's meeting is going to be the first one that's kind of auto-selected here. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a My Account. You should never need to access this, but if you are on a shared device or if you need to log out or log someone else in, if you click on My Account, you'll notice you're able to log out of your account there. You'll have some basic information about your user account. And there's also a Clear Cache button. Again, this is just for troubleshooting purposes. Mainly, what this will do is the system automatically saves the last 5 agendas that you've downloaded. And if you'd like to, you can clear that cache. That will delete those downloaded files if you're trying to save on size on your iPad. You can go in here and clear that out. That'll wipe out all the existing downloads there. So we show that for troubleshooting purposes and for saving space on your iPad if ever you need to. We leave it at 5. You can limit it even to 1 meeting. So if you only want the system to recall the last 1 meeting that you've downloaded, Keep in mind, we will be adding annotations to our PDFs today. We'll be adding notes to our PDF. This would, clearing the cache would also clear out any of those annotations that you may have taken on those particular agendas. So I'm going to leave it at 5 meetings here, and we can just close out of that at the top left of our screen. Close button there will bring us back to that main screen. So the left-hand side, you're going to choose the meeting that you're attending. Any of these meetings, as I click on them, you'll notice the documents will change on the right as far as what I can download. These are, of course, test meetings here. But when I click on tonight's meeting, January 16th, on the right-hand side, you will see a View Meeting button. It also gives you a little bit more information, January 16th, 7 p.m. on the right-hand side there, it's going to give you more specifics. And we do have an agenda packet and an agenda available. If I click on View Meeting, the system will automatically begin downloading the agenda packet. It's automatically going to download the packet version for me. If I want to download just the agenda, I can click the download button. For your purposes, for viewing the agenda, and also in the future when we start to vote using our iPads, you will always want to click on the View Meeting. That's going to log you into the meeting, download the proper version, and get you ready to start that meeting. Now, depending on speeds there, let me know when everyone has downloaded the agenda.
It'll take an hour. Maybe I should do my hotspot on the phone instead.
You can download the agenda, but you can't do the packet. Packet takes a long time.
You want to download the agenda or the view?
You can just click on View. You can click on View Meeting. That blue button right above, and that will download the agenda packet for you.
It's the agenda that comes right up.
Is everyone here?
Yeah, we're downloading.
Just download, but it's slow.
Okay. Yeah. It tends to happen that way. If it's that you're on Wi-Fi, you're all downloading at the same time. You can also do this, so thinking ahead to the future, when the agenda is released, so prior to that meeting date, handy to have your iPad to be able to download the agenda, to take notes on that agenda. So you won't all be downloading at the same time just for this training.
It's still downloaded.
It's downloaded, it's just
Mine's.
Yeah. Once we upload the agenda packet for the first time, it's an iPad, hold it right there in the iPad, it's not going to be
Is it 2 hours late now?
Yeah. Crank back up.
Sure, it is no reason.
So we're all hogging the same bandwidth right now, so everybody's packet is downloaded.
Exactly, yes.
That's what somebody told me.
Every meeting, I got a damn place. That's what I'm saying. Once we do this home, it should be on the cloud.
Do you think everybody should get out of this?
Mr. Brown, can I ask a question upon the
If
web?
you open a hotspot on your phone, it downloads a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But when we're live, everybody has to be on the same Wi-Fi to connect to that TV.
The bottom line is everybody should download this at their leisure prior.
There's
Yeah,
another,
yeah.
yes, but you have to have a different piece of software.
So that hotspot worked a lot better. It's already downloaded.
Can he, at his personal computer at home,
Should have the settings.
He'll have to.
So you go to settings?
Yeah,
Yeah, go to settings, and it should have personal hotspot.
We'll have to load
Add
it
it to all our phones, so that you don't have.
So we'll have to
that
give it your
regular
jump
hotspot.
I don't have it, but something in.
Yes, you talked to.
Okay, I'm on hold.
Can I pause one, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I think it does to get it upgraded on the plan.
Mr. Blackstock has a question.
I'm sorry.
Any notes that we take are FOIA-able.
Correct.
And so when she's talking about clearing that cache, if you take notes on there, you're not supposed to clear that cache.
Cash, no, there's got to be some.
Cache.
There's got to be some kind of screen capture mode, is there?
I don't know, I'm not the
Yeah.
IT person.
I know.
I do know FOIA. I know
Yeah.
anytime we take notes in there,
Right.
they FOIA-able.
Right, and we have had employees in the past where people
What is
want
that?
The question, I guess, because of FOIA reasons, of clearing the cache on any kind of notes taken.
But these are archived somewhere,
The
right?
clearing, so there are two different types of notes that I'm going to cover today. One are the notes that, so what you're seeing on my screen right now, we have sticky notes. These are notes that are kept within the item itself. They link and they sync with our minute track system, and they follow the note. So if you open up an item here and it's tabled to a different meeting, that same note will follow along with your item. There's another type of notes which are annotations. Those are just taken on the PDF itself within the WeGovern app. They're sort of like, taking a marker and writing on the printed copy of your agenda. Those notes are cleared out. If you clear the cache, you'll lose your notes. You'll essentially clear that PDF version, and those notes will be deleted. But these notes here, the sticky notes, they will remain. That is not cleared out by clearing that cache. The cache is essentially just deleting the PDF version that is here and re-downloading a fresh copy from the server. And I'll go over the types and how those appear as well once we get everybody downloaded.
We're waiting on some way we can save those notes.
There's got to be a way to archive them.
No, there isn't any way to download them. They are just written on your copy of the PDF.
Then we might have to adopt a policy, don't take notes anymore.
Either that or you're gonna put them on your sticky notes, one
Right.
of the two, so that way it's left there. So you got a record of it. That's the way I do it. I just
Put it on sticky notes.
Disregard the other. If you want them to know about it.
Right.
I think everybody's finished downloading.
Excellent. Be viewing this outline of this meeting, and just to give you, well, this is the same screen you'll be seeing once we incorporate the voting piece. So eventually, after we get our feet wet, we understand the WeGovern app, we're able to download our agenda, take our notes. We will have another training where we learn about the voting aspect and voting electronically on these items. It's all going to be done from the same WeGovern app. So learning this and getting familiar with this app will help us in being better prepared for that electronic voting piece down the road there. So the interface here, you'll see three main portions. You have your sticky notes up at the top, as I mentioned. We have our outline here at the bottom left. That outline is going to list all the sections of your agenda. And on the right-hand side, you're going to see the agenda packet. So all of these are kind of scrollable. So with my finger here on the right-hand side, I can scroll through the agenda. If you're used to seeing just a PDF version of your agenda, that packet can be scrolled through here on the right-hand side. You'll see all of your cover sheets here and the agenda itself. And then on the left-hand side, one of the great features in the outline is as you click through all of the sections of the agenda, you automatically, if I click on, say, the consent agenda here on the left-hand side, I can click on any of these items. So you'll notice there's a little black arrow, kind of like the folder structure on your computer. You'll have to open up those sections and those subsections here to get to the items within. So within the consent agenda, we have our minutes, our bill list. We have request to purchase here, a service weapon. As I click through these items, I'm able to see the item itself, the executive summary, and then I can also view, on the left-hand side here, you see the attachments. So each one is kind of a click and view, and you can open them up and see. Is everyone able to click through some of these items here?
No.
Left-hand side here, if you scroll through, if you're clicking on any of the items, a call to order, roll call, moment of silence, that's not going to advance the PDF on the right because those items are right here on the first page. But if you scroll down in this outline here on the left-hand side to the consent agenda, any of the items within the consent agenda are clickable and they will advance that PDF on the right. It's going to advance it to any of the sections or items that you're selecting here on the left-hand side.
You're on the agenda, not the packet.
basically just like a bookmark. It's going to bring you right to that portion of the agenda packet. If I continue to scroll this outline here, public hearings as well, we'll see I'm just clicking these black arrows to open up or expand these sections. And I can view. Is everyone able to see that?
We've got some of them that are getting them open and some of them that are still scrolling through to get to them.
Okay.
You're in the agenda. That's bizarre.
I can see it. Okay, he got out. Okay, right in.
And as you click, the right-hand side should update. You need to click the items that'll open on the right-hand side. Was there a question?
I think we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Y'all didn't put the
Okay.
actual packet in there for that, rezone case, did you?
How about you? Good? Good? It's an office. Yeah, I think you did. Except for the regional information thing, I don't know if
They're overlooking everything at the same system.
In Virginia.
Okay.
That's a question we need to ask.
what's that?
Are we supposed to be saving all our packets that we made notes in? I have.
I won't
I'm just wondering
highlight
if
those.
say every single packet that I've made a note in?
Yeah. So I can
Do
show
it, but see, there's,
I'll get it.
you only produce things you have, so if you destroy them, you would just say, they don't exist. It's not the best answer.
We'll get to that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well, I've been saving them, I didn't know why.
No.
Yeah, that bonfire.
We're never going to.
I've been wanting to do the attachments. I've been wanting to fire them.
We'll get to it.
This is certainly going to be a lot
So
easier.
we ready? Okay, we're ready to move forward. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of practice there, just clicking through. You can advance on the right-hand side. As I mentioned to you, if you're more comfortable and you want to just scroll through your agenda here, we do have some view options on all the way to the left-hand side here. You'll notice you can collapse some of the view, customize your view a bit. We can tap on these to collapse the outline perhaps and scroll through our fuller agenda there. One by one, if you're more comfortable doing that, feel free to collapse that piece there. You can also get rid of the sticky notes. I'm going to cover sticky notes here in just a second, but just by tapping on this second icon here at the top left, you can collapse that sticky note, giving you a larger outline to click through, view any of the items that you might need to click on and open. Now let's go back to that sticky note view here. I'm going to click to expand that back open. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the differences here. So I mentioned the differences between the annotations and the sticky notes. One of the main differences is that you can take what we call sticky notes on any item or attachment in the outline. And what I mean by that is the sections of call to order, roll call, moment of silence. You'll notice that the sticky notes are not available for selected items. So if I click on any of those sections, we cannot take a sticky note on a section of the agenda, but we can take a sticky note on our items. So if I click within the consent agenda here, you'll notice we're starting to get some of the first items on the agenda, the minutes from December 19th, the bill list from December, this request to purchase a service weapon here, 8C. As I click on these items, you'll notice that this activates the sticky note. Sticky notes will travel along with these items, as I mentioned before. If you take a note on an item during this meeting and that item is continued on to 2 or 3 meetings, maybe the Planning Commission, maybe back to the Board of Supervisors, it will follow along with that item. All you need to do is click on the item, click within the sticky note here and type your notes. And these notes are auto-saved. They're saved with your account. Each one of you logged into this agenda, so you're able to take notes. They will travel with you. If you find time to log into our web portal and download an agenda, notes will appear there for you. So these travel along with you. is everyone able to click on an item anywhere below consent or onward? If you find an item, and the other key feature for items here, you'll notice a 4-digit number here. So if that's an item, you'll notice the 4-digit number right next to it. That's our internal agenda item number within our system. That's indicating it is an item, and you can take a note on it. All you need to do is click on the item, click in that sticky notes, your keyboard will pop out, and you can take any notes that you may need. I can close my keyboard and I can click off of that item. You'll now notice that there's a little green icon indicating that I've taken a sticky note. This is another bonus of the sticky notes here. So if I were to use this agenda, say a few days before the meeting, I take a few sticky notes, I open this agenda up on the day of the meeting, I will clearly be able to see in the outline where I've taken notes. I can click back there, view my notes, add to those, take additional notes if needed.
But now, we know that we're going to pull over the kids off.
All right, give us just a moment.
I got this right here.
Sure.
The thing is, I'm not going to access those sticky notes, because it's something I've got to open notes.
We haven't actually had on a specific, like this, A to C. You have to do.
That's all I wanted to know. I wanted to know. Okay.
So it's all A to C that you can make sticky notes. But we can't. You have to be able to access.
Sticky notes,
Yeah, sticky notes. Yeah,
those are sufficient.
They can only be
that I'll show you in
I
just
can
a
put the
moment.
name in there with the
Sticky
so
notes,
I
you have
was
to be
wondering,
typed.
here you got to have a particular number, requested purchase. In other words, quarantine.
Losing control.
Just that.
These fine students from Tussle picked a good night to be here.
Don't laugh at us. Or laugh along with us.
Was everyone able to take a note?
Yeah, I believe so.
And around?
We're ready, we can take notes.
Excellent. All right. So taking notes is easy. As I mentioned, it'll follow along with you. Now let's talk about annotation. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you may not see this full menu bar. You'll see a little orange icon. It's a little bar that's just sticking out. You just tap on that, and your annotations toolbar will pop out. Is everyone able to see that?
Yeah.
Way to the right of the screen. And I'm going to cover each one of these annotations. The difference with annotations is you're essentially annotating the entire, any portion of, I should say, the PDF. So if we're on our agenda here, I'm scrolling through, I see where I want to take some sort of a note. Perhaps it's over a section and I'm unable to take a sticky note in our system. I want to take an annotation instead. I'm going to cover each one of these one by one. The first is a highlighting tool. So you'll see that at the bottom here, the first one here is a highlighting tool. Tap on that, it will highlight in gray. And then you're able to highlight any portion of the agenda. And this is based on the fact that we have, we're text recognizable here. So every portion of this agenda has recognizable text. The system is able to, we can kind of scroll along and highlight anything that might be of interest to us, something I want to call out to myself. That is a highlight tool. I can turn that one off. We also have a strike through. If you're interested in the strike through tool, it works in the exact same way. You just drag your finger across any portion of the text here, cross that off if needed. By tapping on any of the text that I've crossed off as well, get back to that piece here. I can cross off any piece of this. And then right above there is what I call a mobile sticky note. It's a call out. It looks like a call out there. It's this almost this center annotation here. This allows you to place a sticky note anywhere on this document. And I find that a lot of our board members, supervisors prefer this version when they're using the WeGovern app, because it does allow you to scroll through and add a note on absolutely any page. So say I'm scrolling through to, this particular bond purchase agreement. I have something that I want to note here. I'm going to highlight the sticky note, tap anywhere on the page, and then type in my note. You're just tapping, it'll open it up, it'll let you know, hey, you're taking a note on this master lease attachment. It's even noting what date and time up there at the top. And then you can close out of that just by clicking off of it. And you'll notice it places a little sticky note icon right on the agenda, right on this particular item. And I can move it, I can actually click on it, drag it with my finger. I would encourage you all to try that from anywhere on this agenda here. Just click that mobile sticky note there, tap on the page, and enter some sort of note. Again, very helpful because you're not restricted to having to be an item and having to look up here in the top left of the screen. This is going to be on this particular PDF for you. And if you click on it again, you can kind of drag it to wherever it will be most visible to you.
And Ms. Jennifer, how do you reopen it after it's in this state right here?
So when you click on it, it'll say edit, delete. So if you click on edit there, I clicked on delete by accident. If you click on edit there, it'll open it up for you.
Thank you.
How do you move it around?
Yeah. Open up right on your screen. You can read any of the notes that you may have taken. The next one is our drawing tool, and this is quite common in annotations. If you have a stylus or you want to use your finger, you can draw anywhere on this agenda, taking notes, circling, highlighting. If you are using a stylus, it tends to be a little bit easier to write actual text, but you're able to scroll along there or scribble along there on your page as well. And by tapping on here, I'm going to turn that guy off. You'll notice if I tap on any of my annotations without any of these annotations tools selected, if I tap on an annotation, I always have a color and a delete option. So if I need to get rid of that note, if I want to delete it, I have the delete option. I also have the option of changing the color. So if this particular note I wanted it to be blue or I wanted it to be red, I can change that. And the drawing tool is interesting. The system is going to, it's looking at it as a drawing object. It's not looking at it, it's not recognizing the text that you're writing. So every single line that you draw is going to be seen as a separate element. For that reason, I usually recommend writing in cursive so that you can keep all your notes together there, all your words together, I should say. But again, a stylus tends to be a little easier because you can write a little bit. The drawing tool there, right in the center. Another fun one is the stamping tool. I don't know many that use it, but clicking on this stamping tool will open up these stamps. You can add them. The thumbs up, thumbs down always gets a chuckle. The dollar sign usually gets a chuckle. Tap on the stamp that you wish to use, and then add it to the agenda. There's a little exclamation point. That's a good one to kind of call your attention should you want to any page. Now the up and down arrows that you're seeing here, these are to scroll through the annotations. These are not scrolling this agenda at all. What they're doing, if I press the up and down arrows, you'll notice it just scrolls you through every single annotation that you've taken. So if you need to delete, if you need to change anything, you can use the up and down arrows to do that.
Jennifer,
Yes.
is there a way to unhighlight?
Same thing with delete. So you would scroll through until you got to here's a highlight that I took. If I no longer need that, I can just delete the annotation. You kind of scroll through each one that you might need to get rid of.
Press the arrow up and hit it, and it'll delete it. It'll put the delete over it.
and then it'll delete your annotation. Now, the scroll button here, the scroll up and down, is just going to scroll through the annotations themselves. If you need to scroll through the agenda quickly, we do have these dots at the bottom. This is a scroll bar, left to right. If I just drag my finger across there, you'll notice it goes all the way up to, we have 86 pages here. So if I need to quickly advance to page 66 or 67, I could drag my finger there and quickly get there as well. So in the middle of a meeting, if someone's referencing something on a certain page, use that bottom scroll bar there, and you can kind of advance through to the next, whatever page you might be looking for, and access it in that way.
If you highlight it multiple times, you have to delete it, highlight it.
I find that full and that mobile sticky note is the one most often used. The highlighter is nice to call things out, but again, everything that you highlight is separate, is seen as a separate annotation. So I would encourage you to play around with it, find out what works best for you.
I'm not sure they heard about your bottom.
Yeah, you might need to point that out again.
This bottom scroll is really helpful. I'm going to highlight the bottom of your screen. And actually, if I go to an earlier page here, it might be a little bit easier to see. You'll notice there's a scroll bar. It has all of these gray dots here. You can scroll along left to right, and it'll just advance you automatically to that page. So if someone's referencing page 40, you can scroll along to page 40 there. It automatically opens up on your screen, and you can review this particular amendment. Remember, you don't always have to use that, though. If you are referring to something specifically here on the left, you'll be able to access it just by clicking your outline and opening that up. The other nice feature between sticky notes and annotations, this green bar will show up whether it's an annotation or a sticky note. So if I'm coming back, if I've taken my notes at home right for the meeting, I can scroll through my outline on the left here, and I can see every page that I may have taken a sticky note on. I may have some sort of an annotation on. I can scroll through here and see all of that information by virtue of that green bar there. Any questions on the annotation tools that are here? Up at the top right here, you'll notice that there's a document button. This is similar to what we saw in the beginning. So this is a way, without closing out of this meeting, you can choose the version of the agenda that you're viewing. So we are viewing the agenda packet. That's the version that we download by default. You can always also download just that simple agenda. For the purposes of the meeting, you always want to have that agenda packet there because as supervisors, we want you to have all of the information that's available, all of those attachments and printouts and executive summaries available to you. So that's the last kind of drop-down or filter that you're able to view there.
If we, question for you, if we use something other than the iPad we're currently working on, like a desktop at our office, and we use the annotations, and can we save those, and when we just go over to the iPad and open it back up, all of our stuff will be there?
Well, the annotations only exist on the iPad, so you need some sort of you need an iPad in order to annotate the agenda. So you have to use the WeGovern app to do that. The notes here, the sticky note view, that is available on the web portal as well. So you can access that from home and take sticky notes on any items in that way.
Okay.
So there isn't a way, we don't currently have a way of doing annotations on the web yet. It's all by the iPad.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Side, I showed you how to collapse this information here. All the way down at the bottom there is a search feature as well. Not too much going on here in our system right now, but in the future we'll have much more information as we begin to ramp up this implementation and pull in, potentially pull in some past agendas and minutes. But what this allows you to do is search for any item within this particular agenda. So if I type in something like amendment, or if I type in something like, let's scroll on down here and see what else we have in our meeting here. Right here. If I type in lake, it's going to just do a text search in the PDF on the right-hand side. It's going to pull up any items that might have that word within it. I can kind of scroll through there. That's a local search here. It's this little search button on the left-hand side of your screen. You can do a local search. You can do a global search as well. This is why I was mentioning other, maybe past agendas. If you're at a meeting and you realize, hey, we talked about something like this last year, let's pull that up really quickly. You can do a global search. Right now, we don't have too much information in there right now, but the local search is certainly available to you. Any item within this agenda will come up for you.
Jennifer, the screen's not changing. So they didn't see
My
it.
screen is not changing?
No, they didn't. Okay.
Let me refresh that for you.
Okay.
I'll click that one more time here. So this is the search feature I'm talking about on the left-hand side of the screen.
Okay.
And I could just type in lake, click on search. You'll see here all of the items that may have the word lake. It is a text search. So it's searching through this entire agenda and pulling up any mention of this. And then if I click on through any of these, it'll just bring me to that point in the agenda on the right-hand side, automatically scrolling to that particular item or attachment. And that's your search. The local search is the one that I'm doing right now. There is a global search here as well. You'll see that's going to search through the rest of the system. We may not have much going on right now. It looks like maybe this is from a past meeting there. We have an appointment, so it'll pull up it'll pull up a test meeting on the web portal. But from this particular local agenda that we're working on right now, you can click on local search. It'll bring up any items that are text recognizable here in this agenda. Any questions on the access of the agenda? Any feedback? Anything confusing to anyone, or you want me to go over anything again?
Do we have a print feature in case we want to print something?
To print, you would have to go to the web portal, and I can show you that here as well.
You have to have what? She broke up.
Say it again, Jennifer.
I can show you on the web portal. So in order to print, there is no print feature from the iPad app. But you can print a copy of the agenda if you prefer a printed copy from the web portal. We do have a web portal that we've created for, let me just move this out of the way quickly, for your particular agendas and minutes. And that web portal will contain the same information. So this is where those sticky notes will apply. You will not get the annotations on the web portal, but you will get any of the sticky notes that you may have taken. So for instance, here's our January 16th meeting that we're working on today. If you as board members log in, and this is a web portal that you're going to be linking to from your website in the future once we go live. So citizens can access, you can access from this web portal as well. But once I log in, I have, if you are a board supervisor, you'll have many more options available to you. If I click on this January 16th meeting date, you will see an outline of the entire meeting, and you'll also get something called Split View, and this will look very similar to the WeGovern app. It's actually it was the beginning kind of stages of the WeGovern app. This is called our Split View, and it's very similar. It has the items on the left-hand side, and then up at the top left, you'll have any notes that you may have taken or notes that you wish to take for these particular items. You'll notice that request to purchase the service weapon. That has a little icon here indicating that I have taken a note. When I click on there, you'll see the notes that I took within the iPad app. So you can very quickly, exchange between the web portal app and the WeGovern. These sticky notes are the ones that will transfer. We will not have annotations on the web portal, however. Excuse the print from here. You can download from here, right up at the top right. You can print right from your web portal. from your web address here as well.
But if you take notes in the web portal, you will not see them on the iPad.
If you take web portal, you will see them in the iPad app. So just like I'm seeing the word notes here, I took within the WeGovern app. I can take the same notes on any of these other items here, notes from the web portal, and then those will sync with my account on the WeGovern app. And these are all auto-saved as well. So if I were to close out of this, I'll go back to my main screen here. And then I'll bring this guy over here. Let me find my account. Here it is. And I'm back on mine. So these sticky notes are the ones that will actually transfer over. My notes from the web portal you'll see here. So they will transfer over. It's the annotations that do not. The functionality of the WeGovern app is based on the annotations that are available on the iPad app. It's based on being a touch screen, and we made it an iPad app, so you have to be on the iPad in order to experience those. Any other questions for me?
It's no way to take any notes or make any notes just on the agenda itself, is that correct?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, typically when we had gotten it in hard copy and paper copy, we would read the back of the packet and we may make a little note on the agenda to whatever we needed, and we may never go to, we may not have to leave the agenda to go to that page because we've already made our notes. And we don't have that ability here, correct?
Can you make?
Well, the only ability you have is to make notes on absolutely any page here.
Cover page.
Yeah, he's talking about the agenda cover.
Yeah.
Yes, you can make notes on the agenda page.
Do you mean like this up here, this piece?
I got it, you have to use an annotation.
Yeah, you'd have to use an annotation to note anything, and you could actually use that mobile sticky note piece to take any notes that you might want to on that particular page.
On that page right there is where he's at.
What was that?
On that page you're showing on the screen right now.
Yeah, they're talking about making page, notes on the actual agenda page.
Can you do sticky notes on that page? On that page right there.
You can do these sticky notes. You can do an annotation sticky note on this page. You cannot do these sticky notes. You cannot do these system-wide sticky notes unless it's an item, because again, it has to have something to connect back to. So you have to do an annotation on this page. You could do you could do your notes here, the mobile sticky note version, and then have that, on this page. So you could take all your notes here. So what I'm hearing is that you would normally get the agenda and you take all the notes that you might need on that first page so that you have them right in front of you.
Yeah, I believe that's what some of them are saying.
Okay, so you can continue to do that here. It might be nice to do or you can write right on there if you have a stylus or in some way you want to be able to scribble your notes onto the first page here. And the last thing I want to show you here, I'm going to close out of this particular meeting here. If at all the agenda is updated after you've downloaded it, when you're on this main screen here, so say it's a week before the meeting, I've taken all my annotations, I've taken all my notes, I go home, I'm sitting at home, I open this up, I may notice right on this screen, right below where it says View Meeting, instead of a download button, you'll see an update button. If that were to occur, just click on View Meeting or click on Update. It's going to update that with the most recent version. So say there's been an update to that agenda packet. Maybe there's an item added. You can update that agenda PDF. You will not lose any of your annotations. You can still view your meeting. All of your annotations will be there attached to the meetings that the items that you added them to, but any of the revisions would also be included. So if there's another item added or deleted, something like that, that PDF would be updated. That happens from time to time. Any other questions for me?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, well, continue to practice. This is the agenda for tonight. Continue to practice with the week govern. Come back with any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And this is the same view that we'll be using when we start the digital board term with the voting. So we want to get used to this week govern app as much as possible.
And we'll connect to you.
Thank you very much.
We'll connect to you again, I believe, on January 29th.
The 29th, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Solid waste. Solid waste needs or something. He said,
Solid waste.
yeah, he said he was gonna.
He said that they want to say that, like,
Okay, yeah.
with the change.
He said solid waste. He's, how's your mom doing? Is she out of pain?
Yeah.
So she's on a lot of antibiotics. What's she on?
She's back more like she had. Not great. She's not out.
Does she know who you are?
Yeah.
That might be worse, though. Oh, she can't see?
No, I don't think she.
Yeah, no, we don't know that. What, yeah. That's the part we're going to do. You don't like it. Not everybody will vote, and then all votes come out.
You walk around, you go back to the courthouse, and you're going to that door, and you're
I'll have to do it this night.
So do they have their own version of Microsoft? Here's what most companies
went to a video where Microsoft was doing a seminar on using Office on the iPad.
Well, then maybe I need training on that. Like the times when I'm most caught, I'll be on at home or train or in a meeting or off-site, and somebody will say, you must edit this document now. And with my phone or an iPad, I have to like dump it into my email and then edit it in my email. And I wish there was a way to. You're telling me that Apple is now playing nice with Microsoft.
They were sharing the stage.
Okay.
So Office 365 with PowerPoint and Excel, all of that is on
But
there.
what about the old version, not 365? Is that on there? Or you got to upgrade to 365?
It is. I think it's.
Because I thought I asked Josh one time, maybe he said it wrong, maybe it's a new development. He said they don't play nice. But I don't know. I'd say we're pretty much wrapping it up.
We're done in
So all that further annotation.
Because then we can't use it for the 20th. Well, I'm going to do some research and I'll get a report back to them about.
Well, especially if you can't print it out.
Additions.
I would say that probably the best bet on the record is the sticky notes, because those are hard.
Now, there's a page on sticky notes, those are annotations, they don't say. Right? Yeah.
Other localities in Virginia use this program, and I'm sure they've tackled Slater's Dragon, and so I have to do some research about how to do it and fully comply with Virginia.
You know how much it costs?
Do you know, Greg? We did an RFP for it, right, Greg?
Yeah.
So we have, if you review your old agenda or ask us tomorrow, it was competitively bid, and this was the logo, right, Greg? And all that information was shared with the public and the board. And the theory is, whatever it costs, will floor save money based on expensive printing. Also, the expenses you don't realize is that a sheriff's deputy every time has to go travel all over this county from the 1,000 square miles and deliver the
Stephen, we're still in the meeting. We'll get a motion to adjourn the meeting, work session we didn't have, that was the last item. Get a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barber, second by Mr. Blackstock. All in favor, raise your right hand. Meeting adjourned to our next meeting over.
And I just found